Another episode of Cooking with Harry.
Hello, I'm Harry Potter, as you know. And today we're making pumpkin pasties, one of the very first foods I ate on the train. And this was eaten with Ron.
I remember that.
Yes, very tasty. Okay, we already pre-made our pasty crust because, well, it would take too long to film us standing by the fridge for an hour. What we did, we got 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 5 tablespoons of butter cut into chunks, 3 tablespoons of vegetable shortening cut into chunks and chilled, and 4 to 6 tablespoons of ice water. Now what we did, we added the dry ingredients, which are sugar, salt, and flour, in a food processor, and we pulsed for 3 to 5 times. After the food processor, we added butter and the vegetable shortening back in the food processor and mixed all the ingredients together for about 15 pulses. And after the pulses were done, we wanted a nice yellow meal for our pasty crust, which we then put into a bowl, mixed with the cold water, and then we patted it down to a disc and wrapped it together in the fridge.
And for the filling, you're going to put 1 cup can of pumpkin, and then 1/4 sugar, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon.
Now to start, you're going to take your cup of pumpkin, and you want to make sure, as Ron said, that it is not pumpkin pie filling. You just want regular old pumpkin, and you can probably make it yourself as well, but we just got the canned kind for the sake of speed. So we're going to start out with a cup, and just going to begin by that. Okay, now once you have all that in your bowl, I'm going to make sure you have the right amount. You're going to take the 4th cup of granulated sugar, which is in the pantry. Forgot to grab it. Here it is. So once you have that, you're just going to take the sugar, measure it out. Since this is baking, we want to be very precise and try not to spill like I did.
2 times in a row.
I know, what is it? And now we're going to take our 1/8 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And you can probably find ground nutmeg in any convenience store, grocery convenience store. But grocery stores tend to have it in a little aisle. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't get too much. And then you're going to take about 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon as well. I'm just using the same measuring device. Needed.
And after that, you want to mix it with a rubber spatula.
Would I need an extra little bit? There we go. It just smells so yummy. It smells kind of like Christmas.
Like the feast.
Yep. So I'm going to go grab our pasty dough out of the fridge. It has been chilling now for an hour, as we said before. And as they are mixing it, I'm going to roll out the dough to about an eighth of an inch thick. So it's just thick enough to form a nice little crust. So just going to roll it out. And you don't have to worry too much about if it is 1/8 of an inch thick. You just want it to be a decent thinness, so it's not too thick that it doesn't cook all the way through, and that it's not too thin where it will rip apart on you. So as we've been doing this, we've been preheating our oven to about 400 degrees, which is about 200 degrees Celsius, give or take a little more, a little less. So, just going to finish rolling out our chilled dough. Ron will explain what we'll do when our dough is done being rolled out.
Once you've gotten your dough rolled out, you're going to put your pumpkin filling into the dough with But first you have to cut it out with a circular cup or this mug borrowed by Hagrid. Very nice.
Very nice of him to
So
know
after
this.
Hermione rolls out the dough, we're going to cut out some shapes as Harry will. And then put in about 2 teaspoons of filling into each circle.
Mug still smells like fire whiskey.
When we're done with that, we will put them onto a baking sheet and pop them in the oven for 30 minutes. We'll be right back with the filling and put it on 1/2 of the dough. You don't want to overfill it because you don't want it exploding in the oven, so I'm just going to do that.
And after you put your filling onto the dough, you want to coat half of the dough with water so you make a nice seal on when you fold it over.
Alright.
Quiet.
Now once the water is sprayed, and then put on, you want to fold it over gently and seal it to where you can be sure nothing will come out when you are cooking it, so pumpkin doesn't burn and make your oven smell, well, pumpkin-y. Now you want to fold it quite gently, making sure none of the dough rips or tears, and making sure it's nice and closed. And make sure you're doing it right the first time, because once it sticks, it'll stick there for, well, ever, until you eat it.
Once you've filled it over, you're going to want to take a fork and just go over the edges to make them sealed a little better, and also to kind of add a little decorative touch to your pasties. So you're just going to do that to all your pasties, making sure that you don't poke holes. You just want to gently seal your dough together. You don't want to actually poke any holes in your dough. So I'm just going to keep on doing that. And after you've done that, you will take a knife and cut 3 slits in the top to let the steam out, so you get a nice flaky, crispy crust. So
Once you've cut the slits on the top of the dough, you can pop them in the oven.
for 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
And
So we'll just do that, and when we're back, we will show you the final product.
cook it for about 30 minutes.
Once you're done, you should end up with delicious pasties like this. So fast, you might want to make sure you make enough.
Delicious!
Thank you for watching, everybody, and tune in next episode for
Cooking with Harry.
Pumpkin Juice Edition. Bye!
Let's see if Hermione knows her Muggle math. First we have,
4,
then we have,
20,
and now,
25,
and then,
475.
now. How is that not Hermione?